Welcome to DDS. Real fans, real sports talk, no BS. We're your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker.
Man, what a happy panel, all of us.
Seriously, it's been a while since we've all been happy.
I can't believe this.
Has it happened yet?
Have we all win? Jags win.
Golly.
What is the world coming to?
Number one seed of the AFC.
Just saying.
Super Bowl
Yeah.
comes through Nashville.
Wow.
Sometimes it's just meant to be.
Listen to this. I'm saying the Tennessee Titans behind a super defensive performance, including 5 sacks.
Wait. Time out. What did he just say about Tennessee's defense?
I said Titans
Gotta wake up.
behind a
Okay, now I'm ready.
Titans behind a super defensive performance, including 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, come back home with a victory in LA 28-16.
What can you say? I think this is one of those games that it kind of proves that literally stats are not everything, because if you look at the box score, there's nothing on here that says too much that said that Tennessee should win, particularly offensively, but their defense was just lights out.
What did you see, season ticket holder?
Yeah, tell me. He's chomping at the bit.
I just loved it. The Titans did this completely with the defensive line. That's what won this game.
Yep.
And they did it with the defeated offensive line. 2 starters out. A third stringer playing left tackle, one of the most important positions in all of football. And he was rated as one of the worst offensive linemen in the entire league this week.
Yeah.
Tannehill had to get rid of the ball 2.2 seconds on a non-blitz play and 1.97 seconds when blitzed.
Doosh.
No time. The reason I think the offensive stats look like they do, we still don't know we are on offense.
No, we don't.
But they didn't have to do anything. They didn't.
But they had to do.
It was dink and dunk because you're up 14-0, and let's just not screw it up. Don't do fumble it. Don't throw pick six. Don't whatever. So I really wasn't too worried about the offense, but this defensive line, we mentioned it earlier. It was going to get more and more healthy as the year went on.
Mm-hmm.
We've still got Bud Dupree getting more healthy.
Yep.
Autry was a beast. Simmons was a man-child. He had 3 sacks. It felt like he had 10.
Yeah, it did. It felt like he could have had 10 a few times, because I was like, oh, geez, he almost got through.
Brad said it. We had 5 sacks in this game. Mm-hmm. Stafford only been sacked 7 times coming into this game.
Exactly. He gets the ball out quick.
The defensive, it was unbelievable. And the defensive scheme, give it to the defense. Jayon's back. And they're
David Long's still playing lights out.
And that they just cut Borders yesterday, which means Fulton's going to be back.
Yep.
They didn't have time. I could have been playing cornerback on Sunday night. It just didn't matter. There was nothing they could do. Defense. I haven't seen a defense like this in God knows how long.
I mean, what can you say about Kevin Byard? Good Lord.
MTSU.
You can tell just by his performance over the last 3 or 4 weeks how much this offense is coming together. He's not having to drop down and help people. He can now just be a ball hawk and sit back there and wait. And that's what he did.
They are that pick. I don't know if y'all saw it, but they broke it down a little bit on Sunday Night Football, and they had more on Twitter if you looked for it. That pick that Stafford threw, the one that the pick 6,
mm-hmm.
that was all Byard baiting him into it. It was unbelievable. It was beautiful. And the defense that they've been running lately is they run a cover 1
mm-hmm.
robber, and they have man coverage on the outside, and they just have one safety
mm-hmm.
back in the middle, and it's Byard, and he can, like you're saying, he's ball hawking, he can go and get
wherever
things.
he wants.
Yeah, and I think on that one in particular, they faked a cover 2. I think they had 2 back there, and then they faked. Byard came down, the other one was shifted back, and like you said, he just baited him into it.
It was a super crazy defensive.
I mean, honestly, it was very similar to the play Jalen Ramsey made. It was just a good defensive play, good read. I mean, nothing else to say about it.
I loved it. We just came off the hardest stretch of the schedule in the NFL.
You wanted 2 and 2.
Yeah, I wanted 2 and 2, and I would have signed up for it 4 weeks
ago.
ago.
What did the Titans earn?
The number 1 seed, baby.
No, what was their record? 4-0, right?
Yeah, 4-0.
I mean, they earned it.
4-0.
You wanted 2-2, but they earned it.
And now they go into the easiest stretch for the rest of the season. We have the easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah.
Titans have won 4 of their 7 wins. 6 of them have been against playoff teams from last year. Titans have won 4 straight games against playoff teams from last year. It's happened 3 times in the last 15 years. Every time it happened, that team went to the Super Bowl.
All right, I got some rapid fire questions. Lawan, he was announced as the starter. What happened?
I'd love to know. Maybe Parker knows. I have no idea.
I mean, I saw him laughing on the
knee problems.
Like at the very last second.
Like he sprained a knee or something.
He was out there warming up. Knee problem.
Okay.
That's why what's his face had to start.
Yeah, I mean, I look, those big fat boys, they do some weird stuff with their feet that's hard on their knees. I guess I can see that.
Next question. Josh Reynolds.
Gone.
Bye.
Off the team. Cut.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, I don't know who will pick him up, but yeah, he's out. He's only played like 30% of the snaps this year. He's 9 catches for 90 yards.
Next. Tannehill now has 8 interceptions, 7th worst in the NFL. Darnold and Burrow lead the NFL with picks with 11. Worried yet?
No,
it was a bad interception. It was a bad throw. But I'm still not worried about it. I mean,
that interception on Sunday, that was a timing pattern. He should have seen it before. He just got tunnel vision through it.
Yeah, he was focused on A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 3-step drop through it. I mean, he just stared him down, and
he also had no time. This offensive line. I mean, he just has no time.
Yeah, so he just got. I'm not really worried about it. A lot of his passes or interceptions tend to be that where he just kind of stares somebody down and tries to squeeze it in. I mean, several times they mentioned it on the broadcast. I mean, he will throw it with a defender right in front of him. He'll just put so much mustard on it that it gets by him usually. So that's kind of his Achilles heel is he tries to squeeze in these tight windows, and sometimes it just doesn't work out.
And they scored 28 points against one of the best defenses in the league.
Thank you, Byard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Thank you, Stafford, who I've said this whole year, he ain't all that. But lastly, Brown versus Ramsey. Listen to this. Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, and rightfully so, puzzled by what these referees are calling out there with this Jalen Ramsey situation. Because 2 unsportsmanlike, you're out.
Yeah, well,
but they changed the ruling of one of them.
They're making up rules as they go along.
They literally, we were texting about it, and I'm like, wait, that
they're right here.
They get the explanation they gave was one was not they called it a personal foul instead of an unsportsmanlike or
that's
something.
That's not how it was originally called.
No, exactly. Everybody was like, I guess Jalen Ramsey's out of the game. I don't get it. I mean, there's been a lot of. I hate it when they try to manipulate rules year over year, or in this case,
minute by minute.
Minute by minute. I don't know. There's been a lot of questionable calls this year.
You know what? Jalen Ramsey can just shut the hell up because against the Titans, he's 2-6.
Yeah, I can't stand Jalen Ramsey. I think he's a little punk.
Honestly, that first unsportsmanlike conduct, I thought he was going to be kicked out of the game for how he reacted. He jumped up and went after him. I mean, it was like a attack. I mean, I really thought might be kicked out of that.
Well, for a second there on one of the angles, I was like, did he just throw a punch? And I was like, because that'll get you thrown out of a game immediately. But
I'm with y'all though. They called it unsportsmanlike conduct on the field. If you look it up under their game log, it's 2 unsportsmanlike conducts. I don't know why they didn't kick him out. Do they not know the rule? I mean, if we know the rule sitting at home.
Vrabel says, maybe this has happened before. It's just never happened personally to me. He goes, I don't know what the protocol is when they change something like that. I just trying to figure out what the rules are. I mean, it's left a head coach scratching his head. Vrabel
comes from the Belichick tree. He is very good also at manipulating these rules. He did that a few years ago against Belichick. Remember, he got the penalty on purpose?
Yeah.
He's done this before. Vrabel knows the rules inside and out. There's one thing he does very well.
Yeah.
And
he knows the loopholes within them too.
So for him to be confused, it tells me that the refs got it wrong. And Sunday night, they even asked the guy on Sunday Night Football, the retired ref, about it. He couldn't even answer it.
Yeah. Interesting. AJ Brown said, Jalen Ramsey, we know each other. He has my number if he has anything to say.
Yeah, well,
Don't get sucked into Ramsey's antics.
I was gonna say I hope that AJ's not going to fall into that.
Don't do it.
Don't. I hate to use the corny thing. Don't stoop to his level, but don't do it. Just don't.
And you know what? If I'm AJ in that situation, I know, and Jalen got the best of him. He didn't have a great game, but scoreboard.
Yeah. We won. I mean, it's a good team win.
Yeah,
good team win.
Yep. So now the maybe the shocker of the year so far. I don't even know what to say as a Jags fan. It's a Jaguars win 9-6 behind what I called a stunning defensive performance led by their version of Josh Allen. He was just named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. But you were saying Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime here.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, he got a interception, fumble recovery, and a sack against Josh Allen. The thing that bothers me about the Jags Josh Allen is he was a major high draft pick,
Number
right?
7, the same as the other Josh Allen.
Yeah,
the year
which
before.
is so weird. And he was good when he first came out, but we haven't. And he had a pretty good game last week, but we haven't heard a whole lot from him. It took
Only
him
in the last 2 weeks or so.
It took him playing Josh Allen to have. Like it bothers me that it took him playing a guy with his own name to like show up. I mean, he's got the kind of talent.
He went to his rookie year. He went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
and then nothing. And then now this year with the new defensive scheme, 3-4, they're having him stand up more. So on some 50-50, he'll rush. The other 50%, like we saw, he kind of drops back, fake the rush, drop back. So it's new scheme this year. The last 2 or 3 weeks, he's starting to put his name on the stat sheet a little bit for the Jags.
And it wasn't just him. Wilson, Griffin, Ford all had a great game. The defense was good. I just cannot. It blows my mind that they won, scoring 9 points.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me that the Jags only scored 9 because this was the number 1 rated scoring defense. But to allow the number 1 rated scoring offense 6, that makes no sense.
Are the Bills fraudulent? Is that offense fraudulent?
So we know they can't run the ball. We called that out in the AFC East prediction show. I mean, they've got Moss and Singletary, but they refuse to run.
There's 2 things for me. First off, 12 penalties for 118 yards for the Bills and 3 turnovers. It's hard to beat anybody in the NFL, clearly, because they didn't beat the Jags. It's hard to beat anybody with those kinds of stats.
I'm glad you said that because of the Jags' 16 first downs, 6 of them were from turnovers.
I'll take it.
No, I'm not saying that.
I mean, that's what an NFL team should do. I mean, like I said, it's almost impossible to beat any team. School for the blind on those kind of numbers.
And speaking of fraudulent, Bills this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who they've beat? They beat the Dolphins. We all know where that's at right now. They beat the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Pool noodle.
They beat the Chiefs, who are not the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They beat Washington.
Pool noodle.
Okay.
They beat the Dolphins again.
Pool noodle.
That's who they've beat.
And they lost to the Steelers at home. And they just lost.
Yeah, I think it could be a situation where you got to look beyond, the numbers a little bit here.
Josh Allen's regressing. We talked about this early. He's coming back to earth a little bit. And you're right. They ran the ball 14 times.
Well, they've put everything on his shoulders for sure.
Heck, of the 14, how many was Allen?
The 5.
Half of them? Yeah, I was going to say almost half.
50 of their rushing yards, which he was their leading rusher with 50 yards. Singletary had 16.
So no Moss, hardly.
6 yards.
Yeah, on 3 rushes.
Moss is better than that. Josh
you're
Allen,
paying running backs to run the ball.
Yeah.
Why are anyways.
He was quoted in saying, we played like crap and it starts with me. 2 interceptions and a fumble loss.
Yeah. It's hard to win when you have 3-1 on turnovers.
There's no home field advantage. Believe me. This was Bills Mafia overtaking Duval in a big way. There were some fans saying it was 3-1, 3 times as many.
Wow.
I believe it. They travel. But you know what?
They travel. They trash the place.
They do trash.
And they boosted the economy of Jacksonville and they left with a loss. Enjoy.
Makes me so happy.
Just like in Nashville.
Yep.
Bye.
Get to go to the hellscape wasteland of Buffalo.
The only time you'll ever see Parker cheer on the Jags, they're playing Bills Mafia.
I hate the Bills so much, and I like Josh Allen. I like some of their players.
I do too. I'm kind of questioning whether he's in a situation where he's like, should everything be on his shoulders? Like they're not having him run the ball, and it's ridiculous.
One parting shot here. Guess who the top 2 teams in the AFC East are? The Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-0 and the Titans at 1-0 in the AFC East. The AFC South owns you. All of you.
It's true. That's great. I like that.
Moving to Dallas and oh boy, this was a Halloween nightmare down there. I looked down once, Parker, and this was 30-0.
Yep, in the 4th.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was garbage. They couldn't have scored. But as Blake says, I think it's a big nothing burger.
Yeah.
I think Dak didn't really play for 3 weeks. I just think they were a little rusty. Denver was coming off trading the most iconic player that they've had in a long time.
Von Miller.
Yeah, it's kind of like losing Derrick Henry or losing, you respond to those things. I just can't wait to sell Denver at a high and buy Dallas at a low next week.
Yeah. I mean, I do think this is just nothing. I mean, this is just Dak not being Dak, in my opinion. Coming off a little rusty. Kind of messes with their scheme whenever he's not hitting on all cylinders.
Coach Mike McCarthy said, the message to my team is don't take the cheese. We were out-coached today. We were outplayed today. Our energy was disappointing today. So I'm thinking he's just saying, look, this was just one game, just like you two were saying. Don't take that cheese.
We've seen Dallas kind of run at a very high level over the last, 8 or 9 weeks, whatever it's been. And we knew at some point the bubble had to pop. I mean, they couldn't have kept going at that clip that they were going at. So I guess if it was going to happen, now's a good time for it to happen rather than later in the year.
The one thing that could be bad, though, Zeke did bang up his knee.
That's true.
But
he's okay.
I think he's okay. We'll know more this afternoon, but it, still could be a little tender bruise.
And I found out one parting shot here. After that game, Denver has now won 7 straight against Dallas. I had no idea.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to take anything away from Denver. I mean,
Teddy Two Gloves was on fire.
Teddy freaking Bridgewater.
But Judy's back. I mean, that's kind of new to their offensive makeup.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how just adding one little piece like that can make a difference, and I think it did. I mean,
I think I saw some of what you keep saying about Diggs. He's giving up receptions left and right.
He did. He gave up 2 touchdowns and a personal foul in the first half. They're targeting him, I'm telling you, over and over and over again. You hear about how good he is. And he's good. He's just so aggressive.
Yeah.
He's just too aggressive.
Feast or famine.
It is. He's either pick 6 or 6 the other way. 6 either way.
All right. A team that looked aggressive throughout the majority of their game, the Minnesota Vikings. They owned the lead for the majority of the game in Baltimore, but of course, Baltimore ends up winning 34-31 in overtime with another kick from their kicker. But I feel like this was one that the Vikings just let get away.
Yeah, Zimmer's done.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep not playing. Who's the daggum? I freaking have him on my fantasy team, the kicker. Tucker. I have Tucker.
The best kicker.
I don't know why he is sitting on my bench.
You're playing my wife this week, and she pulls it up. She goes, "Why the hell is he not playing?"
I completely missed it.
It must have been a bye week, and you left him on the bench.
I think so. But anyway, I looked at it and I was just like, shit. Anyway, but yeah, I continue to, not be all that impressed with Baltimore, but they keep winning somehow.
I know.
This one.
I mean, this is another example of effectiveness. Lamar's effective.
I wrote it down. This puts Lamar back. He's MVP right now.
Yeah, I mean, his stats are kind of all over the place. I mean, he runs all over the place, but he throws interceptions like crazy.
He's going to get – the problem with it is a lot like Josh, that everything is on Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you do? He ran like 20-something times. That's a quarterback.
I mean, eventually he's going to get hurt doing that, and I'm not hoping that on anybody.
They have 18 running backs. It feels like.
Well, can one of the other ones throw? Because I mean, that running back might get hurt eventually. No. So I mean, that's my thing.
They do, and Murray should be coming back soon. But they just blew this 14-point lead. The Ravens are my least favorite team. It makes me sick. But they're up by 14 in the second half.
Yeah, I've got Cousins hooked up with Jefferson with a 50-yard touchdown pass in the first, and we didn't hear much from Jefferson after that. Cook had a normal-ish game, but there is some news. I don't know if either one of you have seen this, but Cook and domestic violence. It's kind of a back and forth spat with him and a girlfriend, right?
Yeah, he's had under a lawsuit.
They're each pointing fingers at each other.
Yeah, he's saying she's suing him for domestic assault, and he's coming out and saying it's extortion, that he's completely innocent. Yeah. So I don't know where this I don't know where this I don't know what the NFL does with it. I mean,
it's got me nervous. He's my fantasy running back.
It's got me looking at Madison on my bench going, oh baby.
Gosh. Oh no.
Yeah, they may. I don't know. I just don't think we know enough yet. But NFL, who knows what they do? Sometimes they'll suspend a player, and sometimes they'll do nothing.
Just drag their feet.
I think in today's world they'll probably err on the side of suspending somebody.
But they did nothing with Houston quarterback
Deshaun.
Thank you, Deshaun Watson.
What should happen is they shouldn't do anything until they have concrete evidence.
Yeah, I agree.
If they have evidence, then
I think this was stemming from November
or crime
last year.
It is,
yeah,
it's old. Or criminal charges, maybe.
It
just depends.
Kansas City 13-7 in a
Man.
dud. 20 points total scored in this game. Jordan Love was quarterback for Green Bay. I predicted Green Bay to cover a 7.5-point spread, but I didn't think it'd be 13-7.
Well, I mean, this is just another example. I mean, golly, the Chiefs are just not the Chiefs. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has all of a sudden been figured out by the rest of the league. I mean, 166 yards. That's just not very Patrick Mahomes like. So, I mean, obviously, I think if Aaron Rodgers is in, this isn't even a game.
No, Chiefs aren't good. And it's weird. You're right. They figured out Mahomes, but they figured him out an easy way. All they're doing is dropping 2 safeties. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And they can't figure it out. Mahomes is off. Receivers are off. Andy Reid's off. The whole team's off. And
they talk about it all the time. They say that, not much has changed in the way they do things. It's just usually the receivers would bail them out in the past. I don't know if I believe that. I think it's just more of a scheme thing, and people just aren't biting on Mahomes' little tricks that he does.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. At this point, KC doesn't make the playoffs, right?
I mean, they look bad. They look really bad.
Yeah, they do not look like it. And I didn't think. I know people are ragging on Love a lot. I didn't think he wasn't great. I didn't think he was awful.
I thought he did okay.
It wasn't awful.
No, it was. You know what? And he didn't know he was starting till Thursday, so it wasn't like he was practicing all week. It was a backup quarterback.
Yeah, it was a backup quarterback performance. It wasn't anything that I didn't expect from a
what is Aaron Rodgers' situation here? NFL is throwing out fines left and right. I mean, it's going to be a game time decision. Is he going to be back for this matchup with Russell Wilson, who has now been cleared to play in the game against Green Bay? But will Aaron Rodgers be able to play? Is he throwing money towards NFL? What is all this?
He'll play. He'll be back Saturday. He'll play. But the thing that, and if Aaron Rodgers plays this game against Kansas City, they win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
And I love the talent of Aaron Rodgers, but I hate the person of Aaron Rodgers.
He's such a dick.
That's fair to say.
I think that he's a selfish ass. I think he was sitting at home loving this game.
Oh yeah.
Every single
look how much they need me.
Yeah, and he's not wrong, but it pisses me off because you have guys like Colt McCoy coming out saying, I'm locked myself in another room because I've got to be there for my team. I have got to be there. I can't be out. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't give a crap.
No.
They and I don't care if you agree with the rules or not. They're there. That you know what they are. Everybody else is following them. And he's out there. He's lying to people. I think he's smug. I think he loves it. And I hate it because he's so good and he's so much fun to watch. But this guy wanted to host Jeopardy. You got to be smart to host Jeopardy. And he just looks like an idiot right now.
Well, I mean, the thing is I don't disagree with him personally about his opinions on everything. But what this really goes back to is this is a workplace that he is in the NFL.
It's the rule.
And your employer has made rules. And if you don't follow them, then it's your prerogative, but there are going to be consequences.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to wear pants to work tomorrow. but I probably should.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is more of the same. Like I said, I agree with his stance on it personally, but the workplace is no place for activism. That's my opinion.
And he's just, and you just know he's at the home because you watch those interviews with Pat McAfee. He's loving it. It just makes me angry thinking about him sitting at home, just being like, God, I'm so happy. Jordan Love sucks.
He's controlling this narrative now.
He is. And the reason I was going to mention this earlier, but I held it off. The reason that they violated, in my opinion, these things is because Gutekunst, he already hates the GM, right? They already had this huge battle over the summer. Could you imagine after all this, you finally get Aaron Rodgers back in the building. Aaron Rodgers is like, F this. I don't know what to do any of these protocols. Do you really think they're going to go up to Aaron Rodgers and say, you're going to have to do this?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, right.
After he was just threatening to leave and all this other shit. Again, this is just him being able to control the narrative even further.
I think it's all it really is. It's just him trying to. I don't know that he even really cares, honestly, about what the workplace is. I think he's just doing it because he knows he can't.
He can get away with it.
Well, it's just the elite getting away with whatever they want to get away with.
Yeah. Quickly, 2 items from around the NFL. Odell Beckham Jr. has cleared waivers. Nobody picked him up. What's the latest?
Too expensive. They owed him $8 million. He's down to 3 teams, apparently. KC, Packers, and Saints.
Too expensive, too much trouble to worry about, in my opinion. Go play in frickin' Detroit and suffer.
And also, can we go ahead and say this? I don't know that he's very good.
Well, that's my thing. When's the last time we saw good OBJ?
Parker mentioned he made 1 catch.
He made 1 catch. So here's my theory on this. New York is the biggest media market in the world, right?
Correct.
Who think of some players that go there that have 1 year or they have 1 play. I can think of 2 off the top of my head.
David
that are living on it. Exactly. You know his
Super
name.
Bowl.
Think about the ones that they still think are good. Saquon. What has Saquon done other than his rookie year with Eli Manning? Nothing. What is Odell Beckham done other than probably the greatest catch in NFL history, other than maybe the one you mentioned? I don't know that he's really done anything other than be a headache.
He's really good at that. Detroit could use some of that. Go to Detroit.
I'm just saying, if those 2 players were in Detroit and did what they did, we're not even talking about it.
Hey. Jacksonville's got $27 million worth of cap space they can work with here.
that group and Shad Khan does not want that.
I know. Look, I would not wish OBJ on anybody except for Detroit.
Could you imagine Urban with OBJ?
No. Absolutely not.
He kind of needs somebody to be in charge of him, and I don't think Urban Meyer can handle that.
No, doesn't want to. And then turning our attention, Brandon, to your Las Vegas Raiders. Blake, they're in the news again. They had to release another player, their cornerback, Mr. Arnett, after a threatening video showing him with firearms, waving around, looking like an idiot.
He did look so stupid.
Jesus. What's wrong, man?
What is wrong with these millionaires that they think that they have to act like some broke-ass idiot and swinging around guns like they're some hard-ass some bitch?
The video is so bad. I mean, I don't know what he's holding. It looks like an AK-40. It's just some ridiculous gun. And he just screamed, I'm going to kill you over and over and over again. Oh. It's so bad. And if you guys will let me have a moment, I would like to dig into
the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'd like to discuss the Raiders 2020 draft class. And usually we give 3 or 4 years to decide if the draft class is good. But I'm going to go ahead and call the Raiders 2020 draft class maybe the worst in NFL history. After moving to Vegas, the Raiders general manager Mike Mayock and coach then John Gruden talked about drafting high-character guys. Let me walk you through the draft. In 2020, they had 2 first-round draft picks, partly from that amazing Khalil Mack trade they made. With that first pick, they took Henry Ruggs, which was widely thought as the 3rd or 4th best receiver and not the best. Anyways, Ruggs is off the team and facing serious charges after reportedly getting drunk and killing a woman. And with their 2nd first-round pick, Damon Arnett, there were concerns at Ohio State about his character. This was not a Ruggs thing. Everybody knew this guy was a problem. The Raiders took him in the first round. I looked for it. Draft experts had him going in the late third. I couldn't find one spot that said he was a projected first rounder. Now he's off the team. He's facing a lawsuit from a hit and run last year. And of course, the aforementioned video of him running around with guns saying he was going to kill someone. The Raiders had 5 more picks in the 2020 draft. Has to get a little bit better. Lynn Bowden Jr., considered such a bad pick out of Kentucky, they were going to move him different spots. Guess how many snaps he played for the Raiders? 0. Traded him to Miami. Brian Edwards. Hey, they've got a receiver there. He's still there. He has 29 catches in the NFL. Tanner Muse, safety, like Bowden, so bad. Traded before his first snap. The lone bright spot might be guard John Simpson. He started every game this year, although PFF has him rated as the 60th best guard in the NFL. And finally, Amik Robertson, he's a backup that plays about 25% of the time. 18 months after the draft, 3 of the players are still on the Raiders, and one of them plays consistently, and he's not very good.
That was Parker's bomb he just dropped. Parker's truth bomb right there.
The Raiders.
Gee whiz.
But that's
Brandon,
Mike
if you
Mayo.
got anything to say about this, I would love to hear something because we just got a whole lot of damning evidence there
It's bad.
thrown right in your face.
I kind of like that segment. Maybe we should have a Parker Spotlight segment every week.
Seriously, Jesus Christ.
I couldn't help it. I just was looking through it. It was just such bad. They draft so bad. I just don't understand why they take these people. They did it last year too. Leatherwood. He could have gone 30 picks later. Anyway.
That's all I got
Oh,
for the
boy.
reaction show.
Fire. We had fire there at the end. My goodness. Guys, thanks for joining us on this, our NFL reaction show. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. Tell me what you think about the Raiders. What was it, 2020 draft class there? Good grief. Doesn't sound too positive.
You could have picked names out of a hat and had a better draft class.
Jeez, Newberry, anything to follow up with that?
The real Josh Allen won over what you're calling the fraudulent Josh Allen. Go Duval.
Two-tone blue all the way. You guys be well.